Revice was a mistake. It's nothing but trash. Demon's Driver was like $200. That stays. Revice's storyline feels more like an obligation to meet its end than something that was properly thought out. The show has essentially become a parody of itself, with storylines too predictable to really get engaged anymore. Let's just start with the recap. Now that Iki has forgotten about his family, his day-to-day life just feels alien to him. We find out that essentially the contract for Iki was more or less a memory loss of just his family, and not really about those around him. But what about his soccer buddy? While one failing character arc continuously remembers blank spaces, two more failed character arcs chill out at the bath. That's right, George and Hiromi hash things out and are now going on beautiful dates together, with George feeling a bit more apologetic about having a plot point that was designed to just sell toys. Juga Driver pre-orders available now, with the release date of 2023? Y'all really didn't plan that out. The apologies keep rolling, with George apologizing to Iki about his self-indulgence the last 2 weeks. But it was Iki self-indulging this whole time. With the dinner table set, Iki feels like that kid standing awkwardly by the punch bowl at prom, since he has no idea who these people are or why they are so casually talking with their mouths full. Iki just can't take these strangers just laughing at him, and it's time to move on out.
Well, we're moving on.
Phoenix still has some housing available, even though it's now a defunct military organization that led to the deaths of thousands and coerced human enslavement to a walking tombstone. But look, we don't talk about the logistics on this show. Sorry Daddy George continues his apology tour, this time apologizing to Vice for being a douche. We then get some quality time with a boy and his demon, with Iki and Vice getting along like a couple that just moved in together. They aren't just buddies. Their family. Oh, that's the trigger. See, it was explained earlier by George that they thought Iki forgetting his family would be the catalyst into ending his contract with Vice. But if he now sees Vice as family, then the contract still stands. Rocking the drip from the intro, we finally get the suit of Evil Iki making its ass-pull inclusion into the tail end of the show. Iki is on the job hunt now, so where's he going to apply looking that fly? A ramen shop. His game is so impressive that he instantly gets the job. Good going, my guy. Good to know you still remember interview skills. While Hiromi and George argue about pronouncing the word parfait, Vice shows up with the most predictable plot twist that I had to pretend to be shocked. Vice is on the loose and covered in tomato blood, trashing up the happy spot and taking on Daddy Genta. We get the return of one of the best suits in Revice just to get jobbed by a giant rubber ducky Vice. If you thought the last few episodes were ass pulls, well, this episode, Genta literally gets ass pulled from Vice. Or was that an ass push? Let's watch that again. Now in slow motion. That's more Brap in one episode than Reiwa as a whole. Needless to say, Iki falls for the bait. Vice explains that he was just playing the long game, waiting on Iki to lose his memories so he could go back to just being a demon, taunting him to just deal with him the old-fashioned way. And yes, it was just a large act that everyone was in on. They figure if Iki forgets about Vice, then he will just completely forget about his family, thus render the contract null and void. This was a thing? Okay, look, that's it. That's it for the recap. Because it's asspull after asspull in this show now. That's all we're getting. The whole contract ending if Iki forgets his family? Where did that even come from? No one even mentioned this ever before. I get it. The contract with Vice was that he wants to protect his family. Forgetting that he has a family would essentially mean that the contract serves no purpose. But if it was that simple, why not force Iki to just henshin multiple times at the start to meet that end? This could have been solved ages ago. There technically was no need for any of this drama. Like, the tension is instantly cut out if you think of it from that perspective. Look, right now, challenge to the comments. Defend the last half of Revice. I really want to hear what some of you have to say to try and salvage this, or just completely change my mind before next week's finale. Let me just continue to not sugarcoat things. I feel that this epilogue for the series that we're getting was just not properly thought out. For one, having seeds for the solution get planted literally the episode before is a stupid plot device. I mean, since Heisei Phase 2, 2-episode arcs have been kind of the common ground. It's pretty much the monster of the week just stretched across 2 weeks. So, it's the monster of the tweak. And it works for that and that alone. See, the thing is, they had the monster of the tweak with Juga, and that was just bad. And now they're doing it again with this last arc. This just doesn't work. It's not effective storytelling in the slightest, and Revice has really struck the landing so hard that it's ass-pulled itself to the other side of the globe. A season that I was heavily enjoying at the start, and y'all who've been watching my reviews from the beginning know that I've enjoyed some good moments of this show. But now, it's just here. This is the problem with having a show where your lead felt like a background character early on, and you spend more time introducing and developing others, and then remember that the name of the show is called Kamen Rider Revice, so you have to throw in the character back to the mix. But wait, before we do that, let's go ahead and introduce more characters and more writers. This show already had so many Iki and Vice heart-to-hearts at this point that it's become a cycle of implied regression for character progression. Iki should just know better. Or did he forget that too? Just use the rolling Vice stamp like Genta did with Veil, merge with Vice, and those memories will probably, be back. But that's probably not even a thing anymore. And no, unlike Iki, I did not forget. But yes, you probably have figured it out by now, that this show is getting the rating of an F. This episode in particular. And look, I was giving benefit of the doubt the last few episodes, but right now, I'm not feeling it. Standalone, kind of decent episode, but obvious plot device was so obvious. Change my mind. What did you think about this week's episode of Revice? How things are shaping out, and this sudden contract closure that is apparently just to forget family to void the contract. No family to protect means no contract. Also, it's better than Saber is not a good reason. I know some of you will likely agree with me and others will not. And that's fine. I welcome the debate. Full transparency, in between the finale of Revice and the start of Geats, I plan on doing a live stream discussing this show as a whole. Details will come at a later date, so prepare for hot takes and debates and maybe a chair being thrown or two. Either way, that's it for me. Until next time, bye.